Welcome everyone. We're very, very excited. Avotai. Honestly, this is the beginning of a new Sefer Shemot. It's a new, and according to Ramban, the first Parashat is called Sefer, meaning Avot. And you know why? Why?
Because it's about the Avot.
It's about the forefathers, about our forefathers. And what about Sefer Shemot? What does he call it, the Ramban? Sefer Habanim. Why? Because this is the birth of a nation. You realize that? Right now, this is the birth. And if you look in the first pasuk, even in the beginning of the psukim, what does the Torah say? In the beginning of this week's parasha, it speaks about, listen to this. It says, Ubnei Yisrael, Paru, V'yishetzu, V'yirbu, V'yatzmu, B'me'od me'od, V'tamalei ha'aretz otam. Bnei Yisrael now is starting to multiply. They came in with 70 people in Egypt. Now they're multiplying it. 6 at a shot. They're giving 6 babies. Imagine 6 babies in a shot. Think about it. Imagine a lady has 8 children, 9 children, 10 children. Times it by 6, how much? 60 kids, 50 kids, right? And they say when they threw, the miracle happened that the kids came back. They didn't, when they were coming to destroy them, they say that they got soaked in. There was a Midrash brings down that the baby went into a tunnel and there was a rock and it was like honey and it was able to eat. He came back alive. He came back this much later on in life. So therefore you see that it was the beginning of a nation. That being said, to begin a nation, you must understand our greatness. You must understand your powers. Now I'm going to explain it tonight. You ready? I'm going to explain it right now. To explain this, we speak of the greatest person, one of the greatest people, like the Navi, like it says, Lo Kam, like who? Moshe Rabbeinu. Everybody knows Moshe Rabbeinu. Wow, this is a high level. One of the greatest people ever is what? Moshe Rabbeinu. He took us out of Egypt. He got us the Torah. He did a lot of things for us. He led us in the desert, right? He was leading us in the desert for 40 years. He dealt with a lot, Moshe Rabbeinu, by the way. Right? He saved us. Chet HaEgel, he saved us from Chet HaEgel. And I want to discuss when he's born. What does it say? What does the pasuk say? I'd like to discuss it. You ready? Listen very, very careful. This is the beginning, second perek of Shemot, and it says, "Vayelech ish mi bet Levi, vayikach et bat Levi." And you go on. It says, "Vetara isha vetelet ben." Now she gave birth to a child. He sees him, and you look at the psukim a little bit later. I'm skipping a little bit. It says, now when we speak about Moshe Rabbeinu's sister, it doesn't mention anything about who her name is. It says, "V'tomen la bat paro lechi v'telecha alma v'tikra et ha'em hayeled." Call the mother of the child. And it doesn't say who the mother is. There's no name calling. It doesn't say Moshe Rabbeinu's father. It doesn't say Moshe Rabbeinu's mother. It doesn't say Moshe Rabbeinu's sister. And it keeps on talking about, if you look in the second perek, it keeps on talking about the mother, the father, the sister, and nobody says any names. Why? How come you didn't say Amram, which was Moshe Rabbeinu's father, married who? Yocheved. Yocheved. And they had a child. Who was it? Moshe Rabbeinu. Doesn't say that. You know when it says that? It says in next perek. Next parasha. In Parashat Vayera, it says, later on it says, Vayikach Amram. Amram took et Yocheved. And it says, Vetelet lo et Aaron ve'et Moshe. Speaks about over there, Moshe. Oh, you're the beginning of the birth of Moshe Rabbeinu. Speak. Who's his father? Who's his mother? One of the greatest people that you could imagine in history. The history. Somebody asked me a question. If you had to go back in time, which person would you pick to meet? Which gadol? What would you? If you would go in person, who added the Torah? The Torah. Who would you pick that you would want to meet? I know who I would want to pick. I know who I want to pick. I know so many. I want to say, I'll tell you after who I want to pick. I'll tell you after who I would pick. Yeah, who do you pick? Abraham. Everybody has their own. Huh? Yosef. David HaMelech, right? Everybody has their own item, right? I'm David, I want to be with David. I'm Yosef, I want to be Yosef. I'm Abraham. Everybody has their own item. But you look at him, Moshe Rabbeinu, in the beginning, where you speak about him. So say his name. No name. What does it say? Next parasha, let's discuss his name. It makes sense to you. Rami, makes sense to you or no? Think about it. I just quoted the Pesukim. Next parasha, we'll talk about who's his father, who's his mother. When he gave birth to the child, who's his father, his mother, and even the sister. Right away, they don't say Miriam. The whole time, she went to see where's her brother. She looked, her brother's taken care of. Oh my goodness, somebody pulled out my brother. She went. She doesn't say a name. Nowhere. Rabotai, listen to this. Listen to this answer. The answer is a person. If we would tell you right now who Moshe Rabbeinu was, if we would tell you, you know who Amram was? 4 people didn't sin. One of the 4 people were Amram. They never sinned. One of the people were Amram. He's like, you know who how great Yocheved was? You know how great Miriam? Miriam was Nevi'ah. She was one of the Nevi'im. Nevi'ah. One of the 7 Nevi'im was Miriam. Miriam and Nevi'ah. One of the 7 ladies. I'm talking about ladies. One of the 7 was Miriam. You know how great she was? We were in the Midbar. We had water, biskut Miriam. Be'er Miriam, biskut Miriam, we had water. Imagine, wow, look at the biskut of Miriam. Who was Moshe Rabbeinu's brother? Who? Aaron HaKohen, Odef Shalom, Odef Shalom is so great. So then you're going to read all this, you'll be like, of course Moshe is going to be great. Think about it. His father's Sadiq, his sister's Sadiq, his mother's Sadiq. He comes from a royal family. What, you think Moshe Rabbeinu is not going to be great? Of course. So specifically then, we're not going to write when he's born, Abraham. No, because he worked for greatness. It doesn't just come. I'm born. You don't know. I'm from this rabbi and that rabbi and that rabbi. I'm the lineage of the Gaon Mevilna. I'm the lineage of Rabbi Yosef Palacci. So therefore, automatically, I'm the next big chief rabbi. Doesn't work like that. How does it work? That's how it works. I told you the story when I saw Rav Scheinberg. Rav Scheinberg, the rabbi, would also see Yod, big gadol. And I told him when I was 19 years old, I said, I want to be just like you when I grow up. And he was a sandak in one of the brisses, and he told me, you want to be like me? You got to work hard. You see, any gadol, any person of greatness, of anything great that they accomplished, don't think they didn't work hard for it. They schwitzed, they worked hard. You might not see it now, but many years they've been working. It doesn't just happen, look how great he is. No. He's been working for 30 years. And that's what you get. After 30 years of hard work, you become something, whoa. You understand what's going on over here? I'll tell you another proof to this. This is Mahidush. I got it when I was 19 years old. I was in Israel at the time, and I'll tell it to you. This is in the Pasuk. It's in Parashat Toledot. I'm going back for a second, and I'm going to read you the Pasuk. Pasuk Yud Gimel, Parashat Toledot, Perek Kavav. Homemade Kiddush. Homemade. I didn't see nowhere, but I think you're going to like it. Please listen. It says like this. Vayigdal ha'ish, and it's very easy Hebrew. Vayigdal ha'ish, vayelech, the man became great and he was walking. Haloch, and he kept on walking. Vegadel, and he kept on being great. Ad ki gadal me'od. That's the end of the pasuk. That's the end of the pasuk. Who is this talking about? No, it's Toldot. Toldot. It's Parashat Toldot. Go back to Toldot. Again, what does it say? It says, Vayigdal ha'ish. The man was getting great. Vayelech, and he was walking. Haloch, he was walking. Vegadel, until it became great. Ad ki gadal me'od. How many times does it say gadol over in the pasuk? 4. And how many times does it say ish? And how many times it says halach? And it doesn't say who the ish is. You know who the ish is? The ish is Yitzhak. It's Yitzhak. But notice, what does it say? It has no mention of Yitzhak over in the pasuk. So it says the Ish grew and he kept on walking and kept on becoming greater until he became very great. But who is it? It's Yitzhak. So say Yitzhak. Say Vayigdal Yitzhak. Say it, Dachilak. Say it. Vayigdal Yitzhak. Josh is a good question, right? Vayigdal Yitzhak. No, it doesn't say Vayigdal Ha'ish. Who's the Ish? Who is the Ish? It's Yitzhak. So say Vayigdal, right? Vayigdal Ha'ish, Vayelech, Haloch, Vegadol, Ad Ki Gadal Me'od. You know why it doesn't say Yitzhak? Because it's trying to teach you. Yitzhak, how did he become Yitzhak? He was an Ish, but he's Gadal, Ad Ki Gadal Me'od. Until he worked on himself, until he became so great. Because it takes effort. Effort! People want everything. Oh, well, everything is easy. Easy pass, easy this, that's it. You know, you could be, no joke, you're living in a generation, you don't have to leave your house, you get everything to your house, everything. You can work in your house, you get everything in your house. You don't have to move. You don't have to move. Even to have a new system, you put it by the door, whatever you need to put, you need food to put it by the door, everything, open up the door and just pull it in my mailbox, slip it in this lot. You can sit there, literally not move. But Rabotai, you have to understand. One of the things that we hear, Adam ki amal yulad, you have to put in your efforts. You must. If you want greatness, and by the way, everybody wants greatness. Everybody wants greatness. I'm not talking about great. I'm not talking about famous. That's also great. I'm not talking about that. Famous wealth. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about inner satisfaction about yourself, that you're doing the best that you can do. Because if you get that, you will be the happiest person that you will ever be. You know what I said? Yeah? Inner satisfaction that you're doing everything that you can do in your power to do, and you're doing it, no matter what the result is, you feel accomplished. I did what I did. I did my part. I did everything that I can do. I did everything in my part that I can do. That's it. You feel good. You feel good. Rabotai, now we're on this topic of greatness. I'd like to say a few points. And that is like this. One thing you have to know about greatness is what we said, hard work. I want to tell you, everybody, when they're born, it's brought down, Ashir or Ani, Chacham, Tipesh, Chalash, Gibor. Right? One thing you have to know, that wasn't Tzaddik or Rasha. You have the power to be Tzaddik. But not just Tzaddik, the biggest Tzaddik ever. The biggest Tzaddik that you can be, and you're the only person that can do it. Because Hashem puts your neshama, your soul, which is only for you, dedicated for you. You have your own mission in your life. That's it. And nobody else can do the job except you. You're the only person in the world that can do it. And only you have the power to do it also, by the way. Only you. You see, everybody, anywhere, has different kochot. And it was given like that, by the way. Different powers. And it was given like that, right? How boring would it be if every person looked the same? Hashem could have made every person look the same, no? Could he make every person look the same? You have twins, right? They look the same. So have, standard. This is man, this is woman. Finish. Khalas. What's that? This guy has blue eyes, green eyes, big nose, small nose, hair. He has hair, he doesn't have hair. Forget everything. Make everybody the same height, the same color, the same looks, the same hair, and that's it. Huh? It would be so boring, imagine. How boring would it be? Everyone has the same. Come on, it's boring. I look at the same guy every day. Come on, man. I look at every 100. Over here, it's colorful. See this person, that person, that person. Wow. You see different people. Beards different. Long beard, small beard, short beard, half beard, goatee, half mustache, no mustache, just this. You have a million things. It's fun. Isn't it fun? It's great. Just like the Gemara says, just like every face is different, so too every person's mind is different. You got to use your mind, and so too every person's powers is different. I can't do what you can do. You can't do what I can do. I can't do what you can do. But what do you have to do? You have to build it and pour it out of yourself. And how do you do that? One thing. You know what it is? You have to believe in yourself. People don't believe in themselves. Now, I can't be Tamei Hacham. I can't be Sadiq. I can't be the most charitable person. I can't be. So their whole lives, they put a mental block in their head, and they'll never be, because they put in a mental block in the head. You know the story about the elephant, right? You know the famous story about the elephant? They took the elephant, small elephant, right? They took the elephant when he was a baby. They took his foot, they put a chain, and they put it on a bar, like this. And every time when he was a young boy, he kept on pulling the chain, pulling. He couldn't get out. The elephant becomes now a big adult. You know how a big adult is? Fat guy, this, that. Huge elephant. And they went, people are walking, you know, they have the zoo, and they're going in in the safari minivan, you know, that van, it goes, you know, talking about, like, and so they see this elephant, they're like, this elephant, nobody's scared of the elephant, he's not gonna just bust out, that chain is nothing, he go like this, boom, 2 seconds, he'll bust out of that chain, he'll run around. He stays by the chain the whole time. He says, yes. He says, well, how? He says, we did it on purpose. When he was younger, we put the chain on him, so every time he moves, he can't. Now that he's older and he can, mentally he can't, so he'll never be able to pull out of that chain. Same thing with us. Right, kids? You know, we went through things. People think that, so you're stupid, you're this, you're that. So mentally you're thinking in your brain, I can't do it. Why can't I do it? Because they already stamped me. They stamped me. I can't do it. So now what's going through your brain? I can't. You lose the confidence. So then eventually when you get older and you really can, because you can't. Because mentally you can't. Exactly like the elephant. You get it? That's why you have to believe in yourself, that you can do it. You can be gadol. You can. You know, I remember saying, can I be gadol ador? Could I be gadol? Can I be the gadol? The next, I don't know. Could I? I don't know. Can I? I don't know. He says, I remember when I was younger, a little bit young, could I be the next gadol? You see, you know how much they learn, you know how much they this, you know how much, whoa, I can do, no way. I grew up in Brooklyn over here, streets of Brooklyn, you know how Ocean Parkway used to look back in the day? You're crazy. We didn't live in Bnei Brak, we lived in there. I saw a bunch of things like crazy growing up. I was growing up as a kid in Brooklyn, New York. I remember on my block, 4th of July, forget about it. The whole thing was fireworks. I'm not joking. And now it's the most religious block. You don't understand. You can't. Every house is the religious than the next one. East 9th by me. I remember when I grew up as a kid, they closed it. That guy, I'm telling you, the guys on the block, they closed the whole street. In your thing, firecrackers, boom, boom. I'm going to be gadol now, seeing all these fire. I know, firecrackers. I'm brought up in this. Hello? Don't sell yourself short, because deep down you have so much potential in you, and you got to just pull it out. And the main thing is you got to believe in yourself. And what is the Torah telling you? Torah is telling you over here, V'yelech ish, right? Who is this ish? Moshe Rabbeinu. We're speaking about Moshe Rabbeinu. That what? The pasuk doesn't say his name. And later on, before, Yitzhak. Yitzhak doesn't say his name. Vayigdal la'ish. I showed you the pasuk. Look it up. Look at it yourselves. Amazing. Perek Vav. Pasuk Yud Gimel. Look it up. Vayigdal la'ish. Because you have to understand. You have to believe in your kohot. You have to believe that you have it, and you have news for you. You want to know the truth? The truth is, we cannot really do it. That's the truth. I'll tell you the truth. Oh, you just said, Rabbi, I can. You can't, but you can. So wait, can I or can I not? Confusing. And I'll tell you the truth. I'll tell you how it is. I always say how it is, right? We call it this place derech emet. It's emet. You gotta say the truth. Gotta say the truth. And that's the truth. The truth is you can't. But you just said you can. You can, but you can't. The answer is like this. There was a great rabbi. His name was Moshe Shur. Anybody hear of Moshe Shur? He was fighting at the time to get free tuition for the yeshivot. Imagine Sadiq. He went to this, he went to that, he went to the embassy. I'm gonna get free. I'm gonna get the Jewish people the free tuition. We're paying taxes and we don't even use the taxes for the schools. And I'm gonna get it free. I'm gonna get it free. And he fought tooth and nail. And he came back and it was rejected. How do you feel right there? Tell me, how do you feel? You better believe it rejected. Broken, forget it, more than broken. You feel like going nuts. And guess what? You know who did that? Paro himself. You know what Paro does to us? It says, Leman anoto b'sivlotam. He wanted to torture us for work, torture work. So what did he tell us? Vayiven. He made us build Pitom ve'et Ramses. I made 2 cities, Pitom Ramses. So what were these 2 cities? They spring down that Paro, a lot of things that he made us build, he built it on quicksand. So you built something, wow. Woo! Wow! And then all of a sudden, after you build it, the whole thing's where'd the building go? What happened? It was on quicksand. So the question everybody asks is, understand, why wouldn't he be more efficient? Paro's a small guy. He's got to be a little bit small. He's running a country over here. He became king. He's got to be a little bit small. Why would he use the Jewish people and not be efficient with them and use them to build buildings and let them stand? You know why? When you have a person and at least he accomplished something. So let's say he's a tailor. He did 1 suit that day. 1 suit. But now, the guy comes in, tries a suit. This is a perfect suit. Wow, this is great. They give him, I don't know, $10 for tailoring, $20 for tailoring. Did great. $20, well, you can't buy breakfast nowadays, right? $20, right? $20, right? I have a piece of bread and some olive oil. You know? What do you buy? Shoko velachmania, exactly. So he's sitting there, but you know what? He feels accomplished. The guy comes in, wow. And the tailor says, wow, the suit looks perfect on you. And he's looking in the mirror. You know what? It does look perfect on me. Thank you so much. At least he felt he did something. Now imagine these people. What are they doing? The Jewish people in the desert. At least they accomplished a building. At least they could say, oh, look, I have a building. No. Paro says, I want to take that dignity away from you. You're not even going to see the building. So what do the people think? What? What I do? The guy will go crazy. He goes mental. He goes crazy. It's mental torture. That's what it is. So guess what? Part of the success is what? Is knowing 3 things. Listen. Rav Hutner sent a letter to Rav Moshe Shur and says, if you're dealing with the people, 3 things you need to know. 1 is never get tired. Never get tired. Right? Don't get tired. Keep on working. Now we understand. Never give up. Now we understand. Right? The 3rd one was, he said something. Never want to accomplish. Now this I have to explain. What does it mean to want to accomplish? Meaning to say, never want the outcome 100%. That you want the outcome, but the outcome is out of our control. You could do the most that you can do. After that, that's in Hashem's hands. You understand that? You could do in your life everything possible. And everything you could have all the tools to make it happen. And you try your best. You did everything and it didn't happen. Just know, guess what? Don't let that bother you mentally. Well, I'm trying. No. It happens also sometimes with shidduchim. Oh, I'm going out. I'm done. Throwing out the towel. Rabbi, forget it. I'm out of here. For shidduch, no shidduch. I'm out. Don't give up. Because not in your power. You do what you can do in your power. And they say, shidduchim is like what? Kriyat Yam Suf. What's Kriyat Yam Suf? How did it happen, Kriyat Yam Suf? How many lanes were there in Kriyat Yam Suf? You know how many lanes? 12. They went around. Reuven, Shimon, Levi, right? They're all going around. So the first lane is easy. Goes what? Right away. Shoop, shoop. The second lane is a little harder. The third lane is a little harder. Think about it. The fifth. Imagine the 12th lane. You go all the way around. Hard. Sometimes a person shidduchim, what? He has to go at a certain amount of dates, and that's the shidduch. Boom, it clicks. There was one person in Lakewood. He had a roommate in Lakewood. He had a checklist, and he was a roommate. New roommate came to Lakewood. He sees, what is this? He has a chart. 1 check, 2 check. What is going on? You have 84 checks. What is the 84 checks? He says, this is my 84th shidduch. I'm going. Dachi, like 84 shidduch. He says, I don't give up. I'm doing my hishtadut. I deal with the shadchanim, I deal with Hashem. Hashem is my shadchan, but I have to do hishtadut. I deal with the shadchanim, I this, that. I deal with everybody, but I know, that's it. I'm marking each time, 84. Finally, in the middle of the year, as he hit maybe, I don't know, something 90, 99 or 100, boom, checked, engaged. Man. Wow, he didn't give up. He says, if this is what I have to do, this is what I have to do. I have to try. I have to do my thing. I have to do your best. How many times I saw in my life, they said to me, this guy is never getting married. I'll never forget, we had a guy in a person that I saw. I said, this guy will never get married. Ever, never. Guess what? This guy got married the first in his class. Wow. I'm telling you, I don't know what happened. They're all saying that. No. Never give up. The outcome is not in your hands. The outcome you have to try. You have to do the most that you can do. You have to do the most that you can do. You know, Rabbi, help me out, Rabbi, let's do things. You have to do hishtadut. But the outcome is not in your hands. That's what he's telling you over here. The outcome is not in your hands. You have to do your best. And what the outcome is, Hashem. Now, there's another thing that you have to know about greatness. And that is, it's the small things that matter. Why do I know that? In this week's Parashat, we have Yocheved and we have Miriam. What are they called in this week's Parashat? Anybody know? What is Yocheved and Miriam called in this week's Parashat? Shifra and Puah. Why are they called Shifra and Puah? Why? Shifra comes from Lashon L'shaper. When they were the ones that were pulling out the babies. Yeah, Joe, they were the ones pulling out the babies. And when a baby comes out of the mother's stomach, it's all like gooey and things like that, right? So what does she do? She would make sure everything, all that, I don't know what they call it, will all be clean for the baby. Meshaperet. That's Shifra Yocheved. Puah, which was Miriam, was when the baby come out, what would she do? Poop, 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 poop. Like make the baby quiet. I have news for you. If I were to give them names, I would say Shmira v'Hatzalah, something like that. They were Shomer the babies, and they were Metzil the babies. They saved the babies. Why are we naming why are we naming them Shifra and Puah? What is it? They just calm down the babies, made the baby look good? If anything, if I was writing their names, I would say Shmira v'Hatzalah. That's a big thing. They saved the babies. True or not true? True or not true? True. I'll tell you. There's a Gemara that says, Kol ha-ma'alim enav min tzedakah, kilo oved avodah zarah. If you hide you have the ability to give the person in need, and you don't look, you make believe I didn't, I'm not, kilo oved avodah zarah. So on that statement, it should say what? Anybody who doesn't give, kilo oved avodah zarah. Am I right or no? Again, it says anybody. It doesn't say anybody who doesn't give to a poor person is kilo avodah zarah. It says kol hama'alim enav. If you turn away your eye, it should say kol. If you don't give, it should say no. It says if you turn away your eye, it's kilo avodah zarah. If you don't give, it's kilo avodah zarah. That's what you have to do. What do you mean turn away? What does that mean? So I'll tell you. Deep down, every person wants to help. There's not one person in the world that doesn't want to help. If you would see, if you were in the ocean and you saw somebody drowning and you're the only one there, there's no lifeguards, there's nobody there, and all you have to do is take a rope right next to you. There's a rope. Chuck the rope inside That's all you have to do. Oh my goodness, is the guy trying to take the rope? Please, send me the rope, send me the life vest. Hey, take the life vest. Would anybody, bro, I gotta go somewhere, my man. I'm sorry, I'm late for my meeting. Would anybody do that?
Some people will record you.
Yeah, some guy will be like, look at that. This dude thinks I'm gonna send him a live vest. Get out of here, I gotta go get my Starbucks coffee. I'll see you later. Bro, I'll see you later, but I got you on this social media. He posts, oh, the guy dies. Would anybody do that? Would anybody do that? Nobody. No, huh? Everybody would go and take the buoy, whatever it is, and chuck it. Everybody wants to help. Everybody wants to help, right? But what? Sometimes a person, he doesn't know how to look into the situation. And that's being a great person. Moshe Rabbeinu was great. What did he see? He saw what was going on, and he acted. What do I have to do? This person's getting hurt. What do I have to do? That person's getting hurt. That's what. Vayidal Moshe vayad b'sivlotam. It says he had Moshe become great. He saw what's needed. He saw the suffering they were going into. Then I have to do something. Because you can't, it's not that you don't give. Everybody would want to give. If you really saw a real poor person needs bread, you would definitely give him. You had money on you, had $5. Here, take a piece of bread. There's no way you won't give a piece of bread. You'll give him a piece of bread. There's no way you won't. It's just that you didn't see the situation, so that's why you didn't give him. You understand? People want to give it. If a person was really in need, and he needed money to put food on the table, but literally food on the table, I had nowhere else to put, you would give him everything. I'll never forget what happened to me. A guy, one of my good friends, I know I haven't been my good friends, but it was a large amount of money, it was a few $1,000s of money. He called me one night. He called me a few times, whatever, I wasn't sure this, Called me one night, literally, he tells me, I promise you, this is what he says, I promise you, if I don't pay my electric bill within this hour, like they gave me a deadline, my electric will be out, I will not have electric tomorrow for my kids. Can you help? And you have the money. $3,000, $5,000, would you not give it? You have the money in your bank account. Would you not give it? You have enough money in your bank account. Would you not give it? I think everybody would give it. What kind of business is that? The guy needs the money. His electric's going to go out, and you know for sure, for a fact, he's going to go out, and he's your good friend. Everybody wants to help. It's that your person doesn't look in the situation. That's why a person you have to look into the situation of what's going on. Let me tell you two stories. Reb Chaim Sonnenfeld. One time there was a story how there was a chazan, a big chazan in the shul. He passed away, and it was before Rosh Hashanah. And they came to Rabbi, we need a chazan. He says, don't worry, I'll get you the chazan. Okay, who's the chazan? 1 week passes, 2 weeks passes. Tomorrow's Rosh Hashanah, Rabbi, who's the chazan? Don't worry, I'll tell you who the chazan is. I'll put up the chazan. The next day, when it was Rosh Hashanah, they put the chazan's son up. And they come to the Rabbi, we have a better chazan than the chazan. The old chazan was good, but his son is not as good. We have other chazanim that are better. He says, I know, that's why I didn't tell you who I was going to put up, because what? Think about it. She just passed away. Her husband just passed away, meaning he's talking about the chazan's wife. And she comes to the shul every high holiday. Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and I saw her sitting there. And how do you think she'll feel that Rosh Hashanah when she sees her husband's not there, and her son is right there, and her son has a decent voice, but you get the other chazan? How would she feel? The sensitivity. He saw the situation. Even though it's not the best chazan, he's good, we're going to put him up. Not to hurt the almanah. You hear what's going on? Rabbi Yosef Palacci, when he was walking, remember, they say the story, famous story, when he was walking home from shul, he would have an entourage. You have to understand what Rabbi Yosef Palacci was. It says for the first 19 years, he wrote in his book, his sefer, he says, I can guarantee heaven and earth could testify, I didn't waste 1 second of learning. I learned every single time to the age of 19. 19, he said the people in the community needed me, so I had to go help out the community. But otherwise, I learned every single second to the age of 19. Rabbi Yosef Palacci writes it in the beginning of the book. So you imagine how great he is. He's coming out of shul. Everybody's walking him out. What does he do? He goes, instead of going the regular way, he went all around. He's walking away. Says, if you want to walk with me, this is the way we're going to walk. Says, well, why going around this way? Why we go right here? He says, because this past week, who passed away? So-and-so. We're going to pass the house right the week where the wife just got up from Shiva. And when we go, he was one of the main guys that would walk us. She would look out the window and she would see, and be reminded that my husband's not there. Friday night, I'm not interested. We're going to walk around the block instead of taking the short away. Yeah? Because they looked, the great people, they looked into the picture. They didn't look they looked in what's going on. They didn't stop there. Rabbi Hutner, one time he got a call. There was a couple not having children for 12 years, 15 years. And every day they were always, he was a student, main student. Finally, after 15 years, he got a child. He got a baby boy. He called the rabbi. Rabbi, I have amazing news. I got a baby boy. So the rabbi says, excuse me, I'll call you up in a half hour. I'll return your phone call in a half hour. And he hung up. And the guy on the other end is like, what do you mean? I have the simcha, 15 years, not have a child, finally got a baby boy, and he doesn't even I'll call you up in a half hour? No mazal tov, nothing? He calls him up a half hour. Rabbi, what happened? He said, I knew you were thinking that. Let me tell you. Just like you had problems 15 years ago, there's a couple in my room when you called. And if I would tell you mazal tov and this, that, in front of them right now that you had a baby boy, when they're pouring out their heart, how would they feel? How would they feel? The sensitivity. Could you imagine such sensitivity? They saw the situation. Imagine such sensitivity. So he's like, come on, who cares, Rabbi? Just tell him mazal tov. No. He was sensitive to the situation. Nobody, I'll tell you one last one. Brisker Rav, famous story of the Brisker Rav. When a person came to him, asked him, by the way, Rabbi, can I have can I fulfill my mitzvah of the 4 cups of Pesach Seder with milk instead of wine? Can I do with that? He says, no, you got to get that. He says, but wait 1 second. He went, he told his gabbai, bring me money. He brought him money, and he gave him like $1,000, something exorbitant amount more than the wine. So the gabbai says, I understand, the wine cost this. Why'd you give him so much more? He says, because he was asking me for 4 cups if I could be yotzei with milk. Must be he doesn't have meat either. So I gave him money for the wine and for the meats. Look into the situation. That's greatness. Somebody's coming over to you. They're coming over to you for something. You know what I'm saying? Deep down, look into the situation, what's going on. That is greatness. And that's why Shifra and Puah, they're not called Shmei Rav Hatzalah. Shifra and Puah, they're called after that they made the baby look good and they quieted the baby down. You know why? Because greatness isn't to save. Everybody could save. Everybody would want to save. Who wouldn't want to save? The greatness is the details. Understand? When it's your mother's birthday, just that small, nice text or a card, or you send her, you're out of town, you send her something nice, elegant. Wow, it's the details. Wow, you thought of me. That's great. Wow, it's amazing. It's the details, the small details. It's wow. This is greatness. And therefore, Rabotai, I'd like to conclude with this. I'd like to conclude that tonight we learned about being great. And it's a lesson to be learned. And we said that Moshe Rabbeinu's name in the beginning is not mentioned. It just says that someone married someone and they had a baby. And then it speaks about his sister. Oh, it doesn't mention the name. It doesn't mention the name. It says she went there, she went to see what's going to happen to her brother. Oh, she brought a midwife. Yeah, that's what it says. Later on we said that in Toldot. But why? Why doesn't it say Moshe? Because we don't want you to say, oh, it's because he came from a great family. That's why he's great. No. He came from great because he worked on himself. And then we said about Yitzchak. When it spoke about Yitzchak in Parashat Toldot, it speaks about Ve'igdal ha'ish, ve'igdal ha'loch ha'gadol, al ki gadal me'od. He was an ish, but he became gadol because he worked hard for it. And we said, you could want, but at the end of the game is, Kol mi shebal taher mesa'in oto. That God will make sure that you will be tahor at the end. We said, oh, but you can't. You could, but you can't. The answer is you can when you put your full effort, and Hashem will give you something called vitamin SD, siyata dishmaya. He'll give you the siyata dishmaya to accomplish, what you'll accomplish. Understand what's going on? So remember the details, remember the sensitivities, remember these great lessons. Bezrat Hashem, review it, pass it on to your friends. We should have a great Shabbat. All the best.